This is Commander Shepard. Welcome to Robofet's Bounty.
You will learn the real truth about how 4 ordinary household pets became wisecracking amphibians. Pizza-loving amphibians. Amphibians. Amphibians.
He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
Here's He-Man, Skeletor, and Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together.
You're doomed, He-Man.
Oh, yeah? Watch this action, Dad. Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection from Mattel.
Hi guys, it's Phil Wilson, aka My One Man Band, and I'm back again to have another retro reminisce. And today we're going to be thinking about one of my first toy lines that I remember collecting myself as a child. That's He-Man, Master of the Universe. I think He-Man came to me at just a perfect time in my childhood, where I was really aware of the mythology and the cartoons, and the whole thing really was sold to me. And I loved every part of it. I think before that I'd probably mainly been into Star Wars, but that was because a lot of my older cousins had those and I got the hand-me-downs from them, which was great and a lot of fun. But He-Man definitely felt like something that was my own and something for me to buy into. I remember the first one I got was this guy, was Whiplash, and I remember going to my local toy shop, a place called At Cost in Hull. It was like a big warehouse with I remember the boys' toys were always upstairs, and I remember going up. It was quite a dark place, and seeing Whiplash for the first time on his really cool packaging, and just being like, "That's my guy. That's the one I'm taking home." So he was my first character, and then pretty soon after that, I started getting them with pocket money and maybe for Christmases, that kind of thing. I definitely got Castle Grayskull one Christmas, and I was really sold on the figures and just the look of them. I mean, to me, they're just some of the strongest designs of the 80s toy-wise. They're just so absolutely of their time. They're amazing. And considering that I know that now, we're looking at it with a grown-up eye, they reused a lot of parts to keep the cost down. But to me, that's something that's never been an issue. Like, if we look at Stinkor there, like, he's more or less Merman, but with Mechanix armour, one of the weapons pack shields, but somehow you put him together and he's a completely different character to Merman or to Mechanic or anything. So I love that about the line. I think it's one of the most interesting things for me is often you'll look at lines and think, oh, that's kind of boring, or there's maybe 3 or 4 central characters and then it kind of trails off after that. Whereas I think with He-Man, nearly all the sculpts, all the characters, even the ones that sort of reused parts, like Mossman and Beastman, They have such strong identities, and the gimmicks within each of them is so strong. I think that's really enduring. Another one of my favourites there, that's Leechjaw. And the thing about him I remember the most was there was a craze that went around school of licking it and sticking it on your forehead, and everybody having big red bruised like hickeys where they got their Leechjaw stuck. Someone had pulled it off, so that was kind of a fun time. I think they got banned in the end in our school, and I know I've shown him before, but Trapjaw, he's definitely my favourite. Just colour wise, he's the most kind of his time 80s bad guy character that I can think of. He probably even more than Skeletor. He's just so quintessential in his colour schemes and everything, and his accessories and interchangeable hands. So he's amazing. So I actually sold off nearly all of my He-Man when I was a kid. There's not many lines that I've sold. Most of them I have kept my originals, but that was one of them. And interesting story about that was I think I sold it when I got into computer games, maybe to buy some Atari ST games back when games were like crazy expensive. So I probably sold them off using like an advert in the local paper. But then one of the coolest things was I started collecting the 2000-something, 2003, 2004 He-Man figures when Woolworths were clearing them out when I was at university. And I came home, I had them all out on display at uni, and I came home and my dad's like, oh, go and have a look in the garage. So I went in, I was like, oh, what's that? It's like, oh, there's a bag there for you. And I opened it up, and he obviously been to a charity shop and just got nearly my entire collection of He-Man figures back. It's uncanny how many of the same ones as what I had as a kid were in that bag. So to me that was great. That was almost like it coming full circle. So those are the ones that I've kept to this day. And since then I've kind of grown the collection. So I've got nearly all the common ones now. I'm just missing a few of the rare, hard to find ones. So yeah, if you've got anything interesting, hit me up. But you can follow me on Instagram on my one-man band. And yeah, thanks for listening.
In today's story, Skeletor was looking for a shortcut, a quick way to riches and power. You may know some people like that, always looking for the quick way to get ahead of everybody else. Well, it doesn't work that way. The people who succeed are the ones who work for what they want. So don't be fooled by those who say they have a sure thing. There's always a catch to it. Don't sell yourself short. The right way is the best way. Until later.
Captain Bucky O'Hare! Mutants and aliens and codes beware! You're looking for adventure with the Simpsons! Bruiser, Jedi, Blinky, and Willie to win! I said Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! New Bucky O'Hare action figures sold separately.
Thanks for tuning in again, guys. So, we're back with a look at a different figure line this time. This figure line is particularly special to me because when I was about 7 or 8, I remember it being the first action figure I was allowed to go and purchase, or more correctly, I was allowed to go to the shop and pick an action figure. And this particular figure was a Bucky O'Hare figure, and I always remember it was like the figure. It was. I just loved it, everything about it, so much that I one day took it to school when I was about 6. It got confiscated and I never saw it again until about 5 years ago when I decided I was going to start collecting. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my Bucky O'Hare collection. The way I'm going to do this is to show you everything behind me first. So I'm going to flip the camera, and then when I've done that, I'm going to go through just a few figures, some of the ones I absolutely love, and just a quick look at one of the ships. So without further ado, I will now try and turn you around. Right, we're back, and may I present to you my modest Bucky O'Hare collection. I'm only missing one figure and quite a few accessories, and I collect loose mainly because I like to be able to display the figures and enjoy them for what they really are. So I suppose let's get rid of this comic and show you this amazing bit of artwork that a friend of mine called That Backdrop Guy did for me. I think he's on Instagram actually, so shout out to him. Yeah, I mean, that is seriously cool. And then here's some of the figures. So we got a double bubble ship, and we've got the Toad Croaker, and out the back is Captain Bucky O'Hare. and I'll just put this back here. This is a comic edition number 5. I believe it's part of the American edition. Just quickly do that for you. Absolutely awesome comic, this. So there you go, that's my Bucky O'Hares. So I'm now going to sit down and talk about my favourite Bucky figures.
Another dimension, another time and space, a parallel universe falling on its face. When out of the chaos, who else could it be but the animal adventurers from SPACE? Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! Mutants and aliens and toads beware! You're looking for adventure, well this is it! With Jenny, Deadeye, Blinky, and Willie DeWitt, I said Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare!
And now an update on Bucky O'Hare of the Toad Wars!
In the battle of the Anniverse, you don't know what's next. You only know amphibians are made it complex. When you check out your scanner and the evil that it poses, there's only one course of action. Let's cook us some toads! Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! He goes where no ordinary rabbit would dare. If your righteous indignation has suffered a hit, and your photon accelerator is broken a bit, and you're losing your mind, and you're having a fit, get the funky fresh rabbit who can take care of it. It's Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare! You say Bucky? I said Bucky! Bucky O'Hare! Let's croak us some toads!
Right, time to look at the figures. So I started pulling together, or taking down the figures that I wanted to talk about, and then I suddenly realised that I loved them all. So I thought, actually, what I'll do is a quick rundown of the line. Now, I want to start by saying I don't own one figure, and that is the Toad Trooper. And actually, I'd quite like one. In fact, I'd like about 5 or 6, because they can make up a really cool army. So, taking that into consideration, we're going to do the goodies first. And I hope I remember all the names. Let's start with the hero, Bucky O'Hare. Let's try again, Bucky O'Hare. There we are. This is just a really cool figure, and this is what sort of started it all off for me. There he is with his red gun, and I'm pretty sure he came with another. I've got a feeling he came with 2 guns, if I remember rightly. But everything about these figures, even the way you can connect the gun to the front there, and it was my understanding that when Larry Hama wrote the series, what he actually intended to do was put together a figure, or more correctly a character, which was an exact replica from the comic as it was from the figure line. So you know, these holes were actually in the comic. Actually, I was going to see if I've got it in the comic there, but I can't. I don't think. I won't waste your time checking. But yeah, so if you look, you've got the holes there. They're actually in the cartoon, they're actually in the comic. And all of these little sections here are as well. So, there's our number 1, Bucky O'Hare. Next up, odd little character, Blinky. I like Blinky. I don't have the pack, which is a real shame, or his gun, but he's a cool character. And there's not much I can really say about him other than, again, he's got a little hole there, so it's a really cool pack, which, if I understand it right, when you put it on him, he just falls like that because of that's the way that weight proportion is distributed. But yeah, albeit still a really cool figure. Probably one of my favourite figures in the line, Willie DeWitt. So he was the sort of brains, or the brainiac kid who managed to channel, I think, through to the other dimension, and I'm pleased to say I've got that figure. Comes with his gun and his sort of berserker ape style outfit, which is what he wears in the show to show everybody that he's or more correctly to dupe everyone, that he, the bad guys, that he is an ape and not a child. And he comes with this really cool mask. He actually comes with a set of glasses, which I don't own. At some point I might pick up some mint on card figures, not to take out loose, but just to keep. But I'm not too worried about the fact I don't have a full set of accessories for these figures, because again, it's a nostalgia thing. You know, they're not worth a fortune, but there's something cool that I own, and that's why I'm not too head up about not having a full accessory set. Commander Dog Style. One figure I can never get to stand up, but we're alright this time. Yeah, don't have any guns for him. But what's really cool about this line, I should point out, is the fact that you can interchange guns. So everyone can be holding a gun or using a gun. It's not necessarily an issue, as you'll see here. So he's a really cool figure, and as a kid play with these. You can just swap around the accessories as much as you wanted. Always on the lookout for these accessories, incidentally, but as I said earlier, it's not the be-all and end-all to complete the set. It was more about just getting a really cool display and something that means a lot to me from a nostalgia perspective. Got Dead-Eye Duck next. I have two of the 4 guns, and they're all slightly different, but it's a really cool figure. Articulation isn't brilliant, but you can move him around, and again he's got these really clumpy looking feet with these nodules, which were part of what Larry Hammer designed. Unfortunately, you can't actually, I don't think, connect these ones on because of the way it is designed. No, you can probably do the bottom ones. No, you can't even do the bottom ones. But cool, still cool. And finally, my favourite is the Berserker. He's a beast. He's got an amazing gun, which I'm going to take off because I love this ape pose you can create with him, which is you sort of bend the legs over. And now he is a Berserker baboon in the cartoon, and just to come back to Willy, as you'll see, they designed his costume around being similar to him. So that's what they were trying to get out there. So that's the goodies. Brilliant figures. I'm now going to grab the baddies for you. Right, so we're back with the bad guys. So here we've got number 1. I'm going to try and remember their names now because they're even worse than remembering the goodies. This is Alligator. This is a really cool figure. When you buy it mint on cart, or when you bought it as a kid more correctly, the tail had to be connected, so he's on there now and he's not coming off anywhere. And this isn't his gun actually, it's a tow trooper, which I don't have a tow trooper. But again, because they're interchangeable, it's just cool, and for display purposes it's really awesome. So yeah, so we got Alligator. Next we got the Toad Marshal, I think he's called. He's like the sort of the all but leader of the bad guys, or more correctly, he sort of looks after, is in charge of all the other baddies. That is his original gun. Here he comes with a hat, which I don't have, and a knife on the side of the gun. Again, I don't have either. But that's alright. But he's a really cool figure. I mean, he's got that sort of point in sort of action, get them action. Really robust. Looks really cool. I really like him. And then I don't have the tow trooper, so I can't talk about him today. Not because he's a particularly rare figure, just because it's just I'm not one to go out and get every figure. I'd rather sort of come across them at either bargains or at the right time. That's the thrill of the chase for me. So I don't have him, so I'm going to get him at some point. We'll finish with I think he's called Cyborg Toad. Excuse me if I've got that wrong. I probably do. This is his original accessory, and what's really cool, if you look, is it goes in the hand and in the arm, which is brilliant. There's 2 variants of this. I believe I've got the bronze version, and there's also a gold version. I'd like to get both at some point, but unfortunately I don't have the other one. I'm happy with this one as it stands, but it's always a real pain to stand up. But there you go. So yeah, no, really cool figure. Right, now I'm going to spin you around and show you the ships. I don't want to move the ships, to be honest. I want to keep them where they are, but I'm going to flip round and quickly show you these.
Captain Bucky O'Hare, he goes where no ordinary rabbit would dare.
Look out! It's the Toad Double Bubble. Listen, I love
off that sound! Oh no, it's after Willie! The double bubble's got gruesome gripper claws. Hang on, Willie! It's Bucky to the rescue in the Toad Croaker. Let's croak toads! I hate that sound! Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare to say Bucky! I said Bucky! Bucky O'Hare! Let's croak us some toads! Toad Croaker, double bubble and figure sold separately.
And we're back. I'm just going to hover around and show you. This is the Toad Croaker. So, it's a little clean inside for a while. But this is the ship. It's a sort of. It's not the main ship. The main ship was called the Righteous Indignation, and it was bright orange. And I wish they'd brought that out. But this is a sort of Toad Croaker, and an attempt to make it croak. Although fail miserably, I imagine. Mine's not going to croak, it's just going to make a lovely air sound. But that's really, really cool. And we have here, the double bubble. Now this is really cool, because when you shake it, no, it doesn't sound like a ball rolling around a piece of plastic. It does, in fact, sound, if you believe it or not, like a toad. I actually think, bearing in mind when these are made, which I think was sort of early, I think it was early 90s, yeah, Hasbro did a pretty good job. So I'm really lucky. I've got both original accessories. They go in there. I keep mine out because I'll usually have Blinky in there, haven't been captured. And then at the back here, we've got like a little switch, which I'll show you now. I'm missing two parts, a little grafe in there and a little grafe in there. These are a real pain to get complete, but I'm fairly chuffed just for the fact that I've got the original accessories, so for that reason alone, I'm glad I've got it. But at some point I want to try and get the other grey bits, either replace this one or just try and find the accessories, but there's no rush at all on that. So I'll try and flip you back round now. So that was my look at the Bucky O'Hare line. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the show.
Robert Fitz Bounty signing off. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. See you real soon.
Don't you be a dummy! Buckle your safety belt!
Robert Fitz Bounty signing off. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. See you real soon.